Alright, now that we've set up the ground rules for all the frames, let's go ahead and configure just 2 frames for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable the frames I'm not going to be configuring, so these are all of these. And I'm going to configure my target and my focus frame, and the target of target and focus target as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click General. I'm going to uncheck lock frames, and here we go. Here's my target frame, target of target, focus, and focus target. Now, in Arena, I prefer to keep my focus frame exactly the same size as my target frame. It basically serves as a second target for me, so I can check the buffs and the debuffs and all that stuff on it. So what I want is I want to click global, make sure all these are checked, and I want to make them the same width. So let's go ahead and make it 160 pixels wide, and there we go. As you see, all of them become the same width. Now I want to see my target and focus frame be the same height as well, so let's go ahead and make it 55 pixels tall. And let's make the target of target and focus target the same size as well. So let's go ahead and check these. Let's make it 25 pixels tall. Okay. Let's go ahead and move them in position. So I'm going to drag this away and I'm going to move them. Now they're anchored to each other right now, so they're moving together, but as soon as I move one or the other, it'll reposition them right here. So the way I like to keep them is I like to keep them just to the side of my casting bar, and that looks pretty good. And oh my god, I think I need to reload my UI here because I dragged the configuration utility out of range. So here we go. Here we are. So as you see here, I've got my target frame, I've got my focus frame right here. Now I want to get rid of all the extra stuff on the target of target and the focus target. So let's go ahead and edit these. So I don't really care about the power bar, right? And I don't really care about the cast bar on it either. And I don't want to see buffs or debuffs on the target of target and the focus target. So here we go. This is what we're seeing here. I also don't really care about the current health, because we can see that, and I don't really think I want to see the name. I'm just gonna leave it as class color. So it's just gonna be a bar of the class color that the focus and the target are targeting. Alright, now what I want to do is I want to configure the buffs and debuffs for the target and the focus frame. So I'm gonna go ahead and click units here, make sure those two are checked, and let's go ahead and see what we want to show. Let's go ahead and configure buffs first. So let's make it 8 per row. Can we fit 9? No, we can't quite fit 9. I guess we could fit 9 if we make it size 15, but it's too small. So let's go ahead and leave it at 8 per row, and let's put it at 3 rows max. And that'll basically make our buffs like this. And we can adjust the anchors here, or the offsets rather, and we can adjust the positioning. So if we want to move them a little bit to the right, for example, we could do that. But we're going to go ahead and leave it as what it is. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to configure the debuffs. Okay, so let's set the anchor to be right top. How does this look? We could configure it to be like this, but this is a little bit crazy. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put them on top of the frame. Let's put it to top right, and let's make it 8. Let's make the Y offset 20 pixels, 25 pixels, and let's make it once again max of 3. So we're gonna have a funky configuration like this. So let's see how it looks in game. Let's lock the frames, target ourselves, focus ourselves. It looks okay. The debuffs are gonna go on top over here, but anyway, I've shown you guys how to configure where they go. So if you have your own personal preference with your target and focus debuffs and buffs and so on and so forth, you can always change these settings around a little bit. You can make it so your own auras are bigger and all this stuff. Okay, let's see. Are we done here? We've got a cast bar on both of these. We're gonna have a combo point bar, I think, on the target frame, and I think we're good with the focus and target frames.